Hello, thank you for joining me once again. And before I start, I'd also like to say a big thank you to all of you who have left me positive comments and liked my videos and subscribed to my channel. It's really been a good boost to my confidence and made me feel really enthusiastic about continuing these videos. So today I'm going to share with you Clasped Weft, which sounds pretty fancy, and it can look pretty fancy as well, but like most things on the rigid heddle loom, it's actually quite simple. So we're going to start with 2 yarns. We're going to be working with 2 yarns, but we're only going to have one on the shuttle. The other one needs to be in a ball or on a cone, or however you're going to have yours, even in a ball. And it's good to have 2 contrasting colours. Like I've got here, I've got a really dark navy with a hand-dyed rainbow, and that's going to really make the colours set each other off. And for the warp, I've just got a lighter blue as well, so that you can see that throughout the piece as well. So let's make a start. With the ball is going to be on your left, and it's going to sit down on the floor. So drop it down on the floor next to you, and it's going to hang off the side there. With your shuttle yarn, you're always going to be starting from the right. Now, Clasped Weft is a weft-faced weave, weft dominant, which just means that out of all of these threads, the warp threads and the weft threads, you're going to see the weft threads more prominently. It's essentially doubling, I don't know if you can see this on the video, but doubling your picks. But I think I'll just show you how it's worked, and then maybe you'll get more of an understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to start. My last pick was in the up shed, so I'm starting in the down shed. I'm going to bring through my shuttle from the right. Remember, the shuttle always starts on the right. Now, when I get to this side where I've got my coloured yarn, I'm going to pick up my coloured yarn and just pop it over there, and then bring the shuttle through, so that you're always bringing the shuttle underneath your other yarn. Now on this side, on the right hand side, I'm going to make my regular 45-degree angle and fix up my edges and make sure my edges are looking good. If you're not sure about weaving neat edges, have a look at my video that's on weaving neat edges. Okay, so we've brought that through as though I'm going to weave a regular pick, but don't beat it. Take it back through on the same shed. Now normally, if I took this back through on this same shed, it would just pull this thread out. But look what happens, because we've linked it around our other weft thread. It brings the weft thread through. Now, I'm doing a random pattern, which means that for some picks, I'm weaving the coloured yarn to here. For some picks, I'm weaving it to here. Other picks, I'm weaving it right across. I like that sort of jaggedy effect. But there are different ways of doing this. You can make shapes. So, for instance, if you wanted half the piece coloured and half of it with this darker colour, I would bring that to here. I'd beat that in, going to the up shed, and then on the next pick I would bring this yarn to the same spot again, but I'm not doing mine that way. So we're back to square one. I've got the shuttle on the right, and I'm going to take it through. I'm going to skip over that warp thread there to make sure it's tied down at the edge. I get to this side and I grab my coloured yarn and I just sit it over there like that. Pull that through. Fix up your edge on the right hand side, just like you would for a normal pick. Don't close the shed, don't beat. Go straight back through again. here comes our coloured yarn again. And this time I'm going to take it a bit further across in my random pattern. Now something you'll notice with Clasped Weft, you probably noticed it just now, I'm playing with the edges a bit. Well, when I drag this yarn, the coloured yarn through, you see how it kind of draws the edge in a bit here? And then because I've got another yarn on the other side as well, that side can get a bit drawn in as well. Because normally I'm only worrying about one edge at a time. This time I've got both edges to look at, which is fine. Just tug those yarns and then have a feel of the edges. Are they bunched up? Just even them out a little like that. Yeah? And then we can beat. So now we're back to the down shed. It's just the regular sheds, up and down the whole way through. Let's do another one. Bringing my shuttle through from the right. Remember, when I get to here, I'm going to drape my coloured yarn over there so that the dark yarn travels underneath. I'm going to fix up my edge over here, check that I'm at a 45-degree angle, and then back through on the same shed. It's getting a bit long there, I'll just fix that up. Okay, so here comes our coloured yarn through again. I'm going to take it to say here this time because I'm really just doing a completely random pattern because, as I said, I like that. This is actually going to be a centerpiece for a table, so like a sort of like a table runner, but not as long. Just want it like as a centerpiece on a big table. Okay, so I've gotten to this point and I've got the yarns linking up. See how they link up? They link around each other. And I'm going to just check my edges and then beat. Now, as I was saying before, you can, if you don't want to do random, if you want your colours separate or matching up, I'll just show you more specifically how to do that. So bring that through as normal. Drape that yarn over there as normal. It's the exact same technique, it's just the placement of the coloured yarn. I'm calling this the coloured yarn because I've got coloured, but you might have a different yarn, so I hope that's not confusing. Bring this through. Okay, so say I want this half to be coloured and half to be dark blue. I could count my slots here, get the halfway mark, or as I already have underneath, I've got ties to for various markings, so that one would be the halfway mark, and I would line this up with my halfway mark. You could even mark it further down there if you want to be more exact, more precise. Okay, so I've got that lined up. Beat that, and then on my next pick I'm going to try and line it up in the same spot again to get that continuity of the pattern rather than random. So line that edge up, bring that back through as we did before, but this time instead of going shorter or longer, I'm going to line it up with the last pick and beat that down. So you can do that as precisely or imprecisely as you want. I'll do one more so that you can see the emerging line. Okay, one there, through there. Oh, you see what's happened there is I'm in the wrong shed. I know I'm in the wrong shed because it didn't work. So I should be in the up shed instead of the down shed. And these things happen when you're explaining something and actually doing it at the same time. That's okay. I'll go back. So this was our last pick. So now I need to go in the up shed, not the down shed. Okay. Put the yarn over. Take it back through. And pull it to the point where the last one was. I've got a knot there, but I'll just pretend for the sake of the video that it's not there. Cotton is really bad for knotting. Okay. And beat that down. And then I go to the downshed, don't I? So I didn't line that up very well there, but you can see how you could get blocks of colour. You can make kind of steps across the piece, or you can do completely random the way I've done it. Another thing worth mentioning is what I've done here is I've used a 4-ply for the warp, and I've got an 8-ply for the weft, for both of the wefts. I wouldn't do that again. I think the 8-ply is too thick for this. Considering that each pick is doubled, they're quite thick lines, and I'm not happy with how I beat this. I don't think I've been able to beat it firm enough. I wanted a denser fabric, so next time I would choose a different yarn. I would either use the same yarn as the warp or something a little bit thinner. Anyway, I think that's about it. So if you have any questions, post them for me and I'll try to answer. And once again, thanks a lot for watching.